Hello everyone, Myzzrym here, bringing you today a new From LoL to Dota 2 video. It has been a long time, I know. So today we're going to take a look at the main differences between the Dota 2 and the League of Legends competitive games. I actually got this idea from a Redditor called Michalorus. And basically what Michalorus does is he casts Dota 2 games from a League of Legends player point of view. So it's very instructive if you're a League of Legends player and you do not really understand what's happening in Dota 2 competitive games. Go take a look, support his channel, and give him some thumbs up and subscribe if you like. So today we're gonna take a look at Fnatic versus Moscow 5 for League of Legends and Monsters versus Na'Vi for the Dota 2 side. And let's start with the very basics of the differences in the draft. For example, first, League of Legends draft happened before the game starts. This is because, of course, League of Legends players have to choose their mastery, choose their rune page, and this is something that doesn't happen in Dota 2. Dota 2, it's like a game of chess. If you won a lot of game of chess before, you go into the next game with only your experience, nothing else. League of Legends, you have a small amount of customization possible. You see that you're gonna play against such hero on the lane? Right, I know that I should better take those, for example, a magic armor rune, because this hero deals a lot of magic damage. So a little bit of customization in League of Legends. I'm not going to say if it's good or bad. I'm just gonna say it's different. Those two games are different. Okay, so please don't go on the flame as League of Legends sucks or Dota 2 sucks. And there's already a very big difference in those drafting phase. League of Legends only have 2 phases, whereas Dota 2 has 4. League of Legends have each team banning 3 heroes and then picking 5 heroes. Dota 2 have each team banning 3 heroes, picking 3 heroes, and then again banning 2 heroes and picking 2 heroes. Why is this? In League of Legends, very often the bans are going to be targeted bans. I know that Solaz is playing a very good Karthus, so I'm gonna ban Karthus. This is actually maybe not the case. I'm just saying this because to give an example. I actually followed the League of Legends competitive scene for quite a time, but for a long time now I stopped. So I'm quite old on my knowledge. So if I do any mistakes, please feel free to correct me, any League of Legends players. And basically, the bans are going to be targeted, as I said, whereas in Dota 2, very often the bans rely on the metagame. Lycan ban, DS ban, very common bans. We're gonna see these bans almost in every game. And this is because, not because, for example, the heroes in themselves are OP, but because these heroes really are strong in the current metagame. Lycan, Lycan can be considered a bit of OP, even the competitive players said this. But for example, Darkseer, he's not OP, he's just so annoying to play against, so he's gonna get banned almost in every game. In the month of June, I had the statistics here, he has been picked 81 times and banned 268 times. That should just show how much hate is going towards the Darkseer. So these bans, as I said, targeted bans in League of Legends, metagame ban for Dota 2, and also bans that are sometimes targeted. We see, for example, CK ban going against Asian teams, because a lot of teams understand that Asian team really love CK, so they're gonna ban the CK. And then we're gonna have a second banning phase. Why is this? Well, in League of Legends, the lanes are fixed. As we saw, we have a bruiser top, a solo AP mid, a carry AD bottom with a support, plus a jungler. Some teams have tried otherwise to little success, so they know that it's not optimal, so every team goes for this. I'm gonna go for this lineup, 1-1-1 plus 2 in the bottom. And in Dota 2, it's not the same. Some League of Legends player might have seen 1 or 2 Dota 2 games and said, well, I don't understand, because you're saying it's different, but in Dota 2 I always see 1 solo mid, 1 side laner, and a tri-lane for each team. This is true. Very often we'll see this lineup, but this is not the only lineup possible. Very often we'll have a dual mid, so a carry, AD carry plus a support middle, and we might have a offensive jungling. So you have the jungler and a support from the one side going into the jungle of the other side to screw up the enemy jungler and really stay aggressive on the supposed to be safe lane for the enemy's team. And this allows a lot of possibility, because in League of Legends you can adapt your runes and your masteries in function of who's you're gonna face, because there's no secret in League of Legends, and you know that if you have those 5 heroes, who's going to be mid, who's going to be top, who's going to be bottom, it's obvious. It's like playing with open hand. So you know that you're going to face in the middle lane a Galio if you're the Twisted Fate right now. You know that the Galio isn't going to be bottom for some odd reason. Whereas in Dota 2, the meta game is a lot more fixed, as you know, right now we're seeing, as I said, a lot of heroes that are very often picked or banned. There's very rarely the banning or picking phase that goes through without a Chen, without a Prophet, without a Leshrac. So in this situation, we might say that, okay, you know, those heroes very often picked, and it might even lead to people thinking that it's less versatile than League of Legends. But it's not true, because Dota 2 allow for, since there's not this fixed lineup, it allows for a lot of experimentation. So there are teams that go without any carries. There are teams that goes with 3 carries. This happened in Dota 2, Dota 1 Asian team. They had a 3 carry lineup, which basically was behind the idea of, if they shut down 1 carry, we still have 2 farming. If they shut down 2, we still have 1 farming. And the time they're spending shutting down our carries is this time they're not spending farming. So there's a lot of, you know, really a lot of reflection behind this. And as I said, the second banning phase happened because when you see the first 3 picks, you can already have an idea of what's going to come on. For example, Navi side have Prophet, Leshrac, Enchantress, 3 very good pushing heroes, and Enchantress very early, you know, very early aggression with these creeps, and also Enchantress a counter pick to Chen, because she can steal his creeps every time, and she can just follow him around in the jungle and be a very huge pain in the ass. So Dota 2, a lot is decided in the drafting. The League of Legends, a lot less about the drafting. A lot more in the game itself is decided by the player skills, because it's almost, you know, leveled up. Everyone's gonna sit on the lane where they know what's gonna happen against a player. They know that who they're playing who. Whereas in Dota 2, you might say, oh, they have a Broodmother, so I know that there's a good counter to this. I'm gonna pick Tidehunter. And Broodmother is probably going to go bottom, so I'm going to put my Tidehunter bottom. And then you arrive bottom, the creep spawn, and you're like, crap, Broodmother's top lane. So now I have either to waste time running up to the top lane, waste gold buying a teleport scroll, or I have to suck it up and play against the other lineup that is in the bottom lane. So this is very important, and it's what makes Dota 2 unpredictable and really enjoyable to watch. Now we're gonna go into the game. Oh, last little thing. League of Legends. How does the captains work? The captain bans 3 heroes, and then each player gonna pick his own hero, and then they're gonna swap. In Dota 2, it's the captain that does everything. The bans, the picks, and then he distributes the heroes to everyone, to all his players. So let's go into the game. And right, we're into the game. So let's very quickly talk about jungle invasion right now. A level 1 jungle invasion is common in both games, and we're gonna see the Kog'Maw taking a lot of damage and very probably dying. Yep, he's dead. So, jungle 1 invasion from the Fnatic side. Same for the Navi side, it's actually common to go level 1 jungle invasion, but in the Dota 2, it's normally the players are much more careful, because League of Legends have very short CC, and also since they have scaling on their skills, base damage of the skills are often going to be quite low. That means that if you do not have any AP, the skill is not going to be very powerful. The nuke is not going to do a lot of damage. Dota 2 has no AP, and Dota 2 has long CC. So that means level 1, you may get chain stun, 1.5 second stun, then 1 second stun, then another 1.5 second stun. You're dead. You cannot even move. And same for the spells. There's no scaling, so the spells are going to be very powerful from level 1 on. And we saw that Navi actually putting a very offensive ward. If you watch the minimap here, there's a little eye icon, and they're putting a ward behind the enemy tower. This is because in Dota, you have very often the aggressive tower dives. In League of Legends, it's very rare because the towers are very powerful and deal a lot of damage. In Dota 2, you can actually abuse the tower mechanism, and this way you'll really be able to tower dive and go very far. Plus, you can tank up the tower quite well with like jungle creeps from Enchantress and everything. So let's talk very quickly about the layout. For League of Legends, we have the layout top, which shows the number of tower taken, the goal difference, the number of kills, the name of the name of the teams, the icon of the teams, and the number of games that are in the team favor. For example, Fnatic here already 1-0, although it's game 1. This is because probably M5 comes from the lower bracket, so Fnatic have 1 game in advantage. And for Dota, and also they have the hero icons with the HP, the mana, and the summoner spells and names on this left and the right side. In Dota 2, everything is on the top side. You have the heroes, only the icons plus the HP bar, and nothing else. HP bar is only going to be is only going to be shown to broadcasters, not even to spectators. And when they're going to get level 6, it's also going to show if the ultimates is ready or not. Now you also have the name of the team and the number of kill differences. And here, just I'm gonna stop for a moment. See, look at the timer. 1 minute 30 seconds, and already we see a team fight top 3 against 4. It's something that we never see in League of Legends, because League of Legends lacks this mobility of teleporting in or tri-lane and junglers that are actually very aggressive. In League of Legends, we know that the only threat is going to be the jungler, because the rest is set in stone. The rest have to be in the mid lane. The rest have to be in the top lane. And if they're not, we know that they might be coming, and they have to come by foot. So they'll waste a lot of time, and very often it's not worth it to go by foot. So Dota 2 not the same, because you have all these teleport scroll, 135 gold only, 60-second cooldown. It allows you to just go back on your lane and teleport and just take a quick kill and walk back to your lane. Something that's not gonna happen in League of Legends. So let's finish up with the layout. So the team name, the team icon, and Dota 2 does not have this game in favor or not. So we do not have this 0-1 already for Fnatic. Some casters actually use their overlay to put them, but it's not included in Dota 2 client. And you also have the kill count and the clock. And this, if you wonder what's this, why is there a color, is because there's a night and day cycle in Dota 2 that really affects the vision of the heroes. Most heroes have 1,800 range vision in the day, and something like 800 vision only during the night. So very easy to gank during the night, because the enemy won't have vision of you as far as during the day. And some hero also benefit from the night, for example Night Stalker, who really runs very quickly and who basically changes the game to a game where timing is very important. Because when the night hits, you don't want to be caught up your pants down against a Night Stalker. Dota 2 also does not have this very fancy information bottom at the bottom of the screen. Here you have all the hero plus the kill counts plus the creeps count and the items. And Dota 2, you can watch it, but you have to open the tabs there. So it's a lot of information coming in Dota 2. It's a lot more information than League of Legends, but you have to click on the tabs. You have to show it. It's not like it's not part of the game like this. In Dota 2, you have the regular interface of the player. That means that basically you're feeling more like the player, and you're more knowing what the player does himself, and you're less feeling like a spectator, like in League of Legends. So it's two different approach of the game. And also League of Legends allows it for a very easy to put down the sponsors or the casters tag, whereas in Dota 2 it's really you have to do it yourself and put it somewhere where it's not too ugly. And League of Legends will have this little hero layout and minimized here on the side. What else is there to say? Let's go and talk about the laning phase and the jungle, the early game. So laning phase, as I said, Dota 2 is very versatile, because very often you will not know who's gonna be where, and sometimes you will know from the heroes, because you see and you say that Broodmother's picked, Broodmother always solo, so Broodmother's gonna be on a solo lane. Which one is going to be? Is it going to be mid, top, or bottom? This is more it's less known. It's a gamble, but very often we'll see Broodmother on the suicide lane, so we can safely assume that she's gonna be on the bottom lane. But it's not always the case. So laning wise, very a lot of options, and this is what makes it interesting. And then laning wise also, we're gonna have something that is called the deny, and then the deny will allow in Dota 2 to control your lane. That means some hero might be level 2 when every hero is level 7. Why is that? They're thrown on the suicide lane. They're 1 against 3. They cannot go and get a single creep, because if they know that if they go out of their tower range, they're gonna get killed instantly. So what they do is they'll just stay next to the tower and they'll wait for the creeps to come in. But if you actually manage to pull the neutral creeps and also to deny your creeps, sometimes creeps won't ever reach your own tower. And what does that mean? That means you have zero experience. With zero experience, it's going to be very hard later on, and it's a feeling of being powerless against this. And indeed, it is. You're going to be powerless if you're facing a tri-lane and you're alone. You just have to make the best of the spilt milk. So that means that you have to go and take some neutral creeps. You have to try and wait until the enemy makes a little mistakes and the creeps actually go to your tower, so you can reach 1 level and then you will get level 3 and the enemies will be level 7 and you'll be like, hooray, I just got my level 3 in my boots. But it's a role. It's a role. It happens. So lane control, something that is not so common in League of Legends. And also you do not have any blue pill, so you have to be careful about mana management and HP management. You do not heal as quickly in Dota 2 as you do in League of Legends. In League of Legends, very often we see players spamming their skills and everything because they have blue buff or anything. In Dota 2, there's no such buff. That is also why you do not have so many junglers in Dota 2, because jungling still gives the advantage. For example, it gives the advantage that it gives an extra lane of farm, because sorry. Basically, what it gives is solo lane for 2 heroes, and then 1 hero is gonna be jungle. So the gold gained from the jungle is it's like bonus gold. Whereas in League of Legends, it's also for the buffs, because you will have blue buff that gives you infinite mana. You have red buff that allows you to gank easier, and in Dota 2 there's no such thing. But in Dota 2, since it's way more mobile with the teleport scroll, with the fact that the supports are almost always roaming around, you do not know where they're gonna come from, and you don't know if you're gonna get killed. Plus, there's something called the runes in Dota 2 that spawn every 2 minutes in the river, and that gives you like buffs. For example, the haste rune will give you maximum move speed for 40 seconds. The double damage rune will give you double damage for 60 seconds. You'll have the invisibility rune, who makes you invisible for 60 seconds. So all of this contributes to the fact that you can move around and gank. There's even an item for this called the Smoke of Deceit, which basically makes the whole the entire ally units all the ally heroes that are around you will get smoked, and you'll get invisible as long as you do not get near enemy hero. So you can go through the wards, and going through the wards undetected. So this is it for the early lane stage, and basically what I was going to say to sum it up is League of Legends laning stage is very, very passive. It's farming, and avoiding getting ganked, and also outplaying your opponent on the lane 2 against 2. Very rarely you have support, and after level 6 happen, that is the moment where you have, for example, ganking from the Twisted Fate, ganking from the Nocturne with the Paranoia. So Fanatics here, we see that they have a very strong ganking lineup, and they're using it, whereas the M5 side, they almost never ganked until this has been like 11 minutes in, and they almost never ganked. But although the League of Legends do not have a lot of ganking its incentive, in the form that they do not have a teleport scroll, in the form that they do not have a lot of mobility spell and everything, they have something to force the team fight in the form of the dragon and the buffs. Something that in Dota 2 you do not have. In Dota 2, the only way you force a team fight usually is either by trying to take down a tower or by going for Roshan. So Roshan is the equivalent of Nashor for a League of Legends player. And the dragon, for Dota 2 players who don't know, the dragon gives 190 gold to everyone on the team, so it's equivalent to a tower kill almost. Whereas in League of Legends, killing towers don't give you that much gold. It gives you more map control, but not that much not that much gold. And in Dota 2, it gives you 200 gold to every hero, plus an extra 500 gold, for example, in total for the killer. Plus, since in Dota 2 it relies a lot on mobility, as I said, teleporting up, teleporting down, etc., etc. The fact that you do not have a tower means you cannot teleport on the tower. And if you actually take those 3 towers, for example, for the Radiant side, this 2 bottom towers plus this middle tower, and that will mean that basically you have free reign over their jungle, because you will not be able to teleport to support anyone who's jungling and getting ganked. So this is it for the laning and ganking phase. As I said, very often it's a combat in League of Legends of skills, of one versus one skill, and also it's 1-on-1 or 2-on-2 with the help of the jungler, and that's all. So if you're getting outlane, usually it's your fault. Whereas in Dota 2, it all comes down to the team coordination. You're getting you're very rarely in a 3v3 situation. You're very often on a winning situation. This is tactic. You want to get the kills when you know that you're in the advantage situation. You know that they cannot fight back. You're 3 against 1. Fine, let's go. Let's kill him, and then get the fuck out when the enemy teleport in. Hit fast, hit quick, and get out. Get the advantage. Press the advantage. And also there's something else, is the items. In League of Legends, there's very few activable items that are used. One of these items that you often see is the Shorelia Reverie, because it allows you to have like a move speed buff for your entire team. Something like for Dota 2, the Drum of Endurance. Now, in Dota 2, there are a lot more team-oriented items. Arcane Boots, for example, give back mana to the allies that are around you. So it effectively allows you to spam up more spells. The mechanism allows you to have a 250 health heal buff to everyone that's on your near you, and the pipe also makes a 400 shield for all the allies around you. So a lot in Dota 2 also comes to this timing, whereas we just got the mechanism, let's go, let's press the advantage. The enemy does not have mechanism yet, let's push. And in League of Legends, it's less about these items, but more about getting the farm up on your carry, so he can like 3-click the enemy hero. And the problem of the League of Legends support is that they do not scale well into the late game, because in League of Legends, as I said, you need AP to scale. So Nunu late game, if he does not get any AP items, which probably he's not gonna get because he's a support here, he has 2 creep kills. See how little creep kills he has? So that means even his ultimate is gonna do very little damage. Whereas in Dota 2, you only have base damage spells. Even if you have someone like a Lina support, if she just has 600 HP and a set of boots, she's gonna be horrible to play against if you actually get stunned. If she lands the ultimate, a Dragon Salve, and a nuke on you, and a stun on you, you're gonna be hurting. You're gonna be hurting very bad. So Dota 2 have very strong support, usually in the late game as well. They're gonna get killed very quickly, but they're still not powerless. They still have their use. So what else is there to be said? Mid game, yes, mid game. Mid game is going to be a lot more active on both sides, League of Legends as well as Dota 2, because it's a time where they start stopping to just farm in their lane and start to push. So it's forcing team fight like in Dota 2. And the problem is in League of Legends, pushing is actually, it forces the enemy heroes to come and to sit here behind the tower to wait, because there's no teleport, right? So in Dota 2, it's not the case. If you go and push down the tower, you might have 5 enemy heroes teleporting instantly on the tower. So there's a lot to be said about pushing and the differences. The Dota 2 teams can actually delay the defense until they really know that it's not like faking the push like they're doing bottom lane, and there were 3-4 heroes going bottom lane and then they just split and went back with the blue pill. And Dota 2 players can just keep farming the other lanes, giving themselves an advantage over the team that's pushing, because when you're pushing, it's 4 heroes on one lane. So that means you're sharing the experience, you're sharing the gold. You're taking less gold than what your enemy have if they're pushing solo lane on the other side. And then when the fight happens, you teleport in. Last few things to talk about. Yes, there is the inhibitor in League of Legends, and there is the barracks in Dota 2. Barracks in Dota 2 do not respawn if you kill them. That means that you have two barracks, the melee barracks and the range barracks. You have to kill the melee barracks first because it's not gonna add up a creep like in League of Legends, add up like a very big creep. Instead, it's gonna buff your creeps. So killing the melee racks will buff your melee creeps on this lane, and killing the range racks will buff the range creep. But the range creeps, there's only like one, whereas the melee creeps, there are like 4. So killing the melee barracks is more important. In League of Legends, it adds up one creep, which is a big creep, and then it respawns after something like 6 minutes. Oh, a lot of things I wanted to say. The pause. The pause happen very often in Dota 2. And this is deemed very unprofessional by a lot of Dota 2 players. You know, on Reddit, there's a lot of players complaining about the fact that Dota 2 players are unprofessional. They spend their time, being late to the game, and also posing during the game happen very often and for a long time. So what this means is it delays the other games, and it basically gives them a bad image to the sponsors because it's not serious. It's something that doesn't happen a lot in League of Legends because, of course, League of Legends at first didn't have any pause. So if you actually, dropped the game, it was your own fault. So you have to be careful about this, and you do not want to lose because of this. So League of Legends teams being very, very serious on this. Dota 2 teams a lot less serious. And right now the tournament admins started to enforce the rules a bit better. So props to them. And this is all to actually make the Dota 2 community grow, and having a more serious team make it so the sponsors are more likely to sponsor you. So now we also see, I think the pose also exists in League of Legends as well now, because having no pose is also a big issue. We saw this in the first season of League of Legends during a tournament, a very important tournament. I think it was DreamHack Summer. One player dropped the game for 6 minutes, and there was no pose possible, and they just lost the game because of this. It was the AD carry, I think I remember. So I think this is it. If I actually missed something, or if you have a request, please do not hesitate to put it down in the comments down below. I'll take a look at it. I'll try to answer the best I can. And if you have requests, as I said, for any other from LoL to Dota 2 video, go ahead. I'm really open to suggestion. And once again, thanks to Mikaloris. He's the one to credit for this idea. So see you guys, and I hope to see you guys another time.